guys, welcome back to another video. This is Alex with junkNdisorderly, and I am here today to give y'all advice on how to start reselling in 2023. So I have my notebook here and I have a few things that I wanted to go over. I think there's about 12 things in here I wanted to go over about how to start reselling in 2023. So the first tip that I have for y'all to start reselling in 2023 would be to start by selling your own things around your house. So it's not necessary to go out and to spend money to make money when you first start. You just really want to get a feel of, you just really want to start by selling things that you don't use around your house, and everyone will have items around their house. So whether it's an old pair of shoes, an old shirt, a sweater, a hoodie, whatever it is, you can go find it around your house and start by using those items. And then once you sell those items that you no longer need in your house, then with that money, you can go to the thrift store and go to garage sales and use that money to then purchase better quality items. So tip number 2 would be to start on an easier platform. And I think Poshmark, Mercari, maybe even Depop might be easier than eBay when first starting out, just because eBay is a little bit more difficult because you have to weigh your items and not everyone will have a scale at home to weigh them and to measure items for packaging. So Poshmark is really good about that because you get up to 5 pounds that you can use, and most typically everyone or everything that you're selling around your house when you first start off is going to be under 5 pounds. A purse, shoes, pants, a sweater, a shirt, all of those things are definitely going to be under 5 pounds. So I would say start off with Poshmark or even Mercari. Mercari is also pretty easy to start off with, but Poshmark for sure, just because their shipping is a lot easier. The fees are right there, 20% right off the bat once you sell it. eBay's fees and listing fees, it gets a little bit confusing when you first start off. So I do recommend starting off with Poshmark. And also Facebook Marketplace is also a good place to start. Now, I wouldn't recommend shipping through Facebook Marketplace and getting paid through Facebook Marketplace because their customer service isn't really that good. And sometimes I had a few issues in the past where I shipped an item and I never received the payment for that item until like a month later. So I don't recommend doing that. I just recommend selling locally, or even if you're going to ship through Facebook Marketplace, let your buyers know that you prefer getting paid through PayPal or Cash App or something else, and then you can ship them the item on your own and send them the label, like a picture of the label and everything. But or just sell locally, because locally you can get that experience of taking pictures and listing and things like that. Okay, so moving on to the next tip, number 3. So whenever you're taking pictures, you don't need to buy like an actual camera to take pictures with, because your phone is going to be easier and takes a good high quality pictures. Now, if you're using like an iPhone 5 or like an iPhone 6 or something, then yeah, you might want to get a newer updated phone. When I first started, I did use an iPhone 6, and at the time it did take great pictures, but now I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max, and that one just takes like really great pictures. I don't use another camera to take pictures with, even though I do have this Sony camera. I don't use it to take pictures just because the uploading process is going to be so much easier if you use your phone, because you can use your phone to take the pictures, upload with your phone, the listing on the platforms. I know some people use their computer to list, but honestly, I just find it so much more difficult to list from the computer, because then I have to take all those pictures with my phone, upload it to my computer, and then list from my computer. So I just find it so much easier and so much faster to list from my phone. So use your phone, take great pictures, but whenever you're using your phone, make sure, or whenever you're taking the pictures, make sure your background is clean. Don't take a picture on the carpet that's all grimy and gross. Don't take a picture in the middle of the night when it's super dark and you can't even see. Make sure that you have like a clear, clean background. Throw down a white sheet, throw down even a cardboard box or something to get it off the floor. Take the picture on your couch and make sure that the background is clean and it's not distracting from the item. If your item is striped, don't take a picture on a busy background, you know, something like that. So when you're first starting out, just be conscious of the lighting, just be conscious of the clean background and clear photos. That's the number one thing that I could recommend, is taking clear, clean photos, because the photos is what is going to sell your item. And oh, I also have a side note. You can use there's apps out there that can remove the background. I think it's called Remove BG, and there's a few other ones out there. I personally don't like removing the background to where it's like a stark white. I just think it makes the item look weird, but I do see a lot of people using that and they love it. So if you don't have a clean background, you can just remove it with those apps, and I think the Remove BG is free, so you can use that one and remove it. But I personally just okay, that was my refrigerator and it just freaked me out. But I personally just don't like using the Remove BG. I just don't like how it makes it look, but you're free to use it and to check it out if you do like it. I'm sorry guys, I'm getting sick. I think I have the flu. So this video, I'm going to probably sound weird. Hopefully it's not gonna take a long time in between takes, coughing and stuff, but I'm trying to push through and get these Vlogmas thrift videos out for y'all every day, like I said. So if you could just hit the thumbs up and leave me a comment down below or subscribe, I really do appreciate that. Okay, moving on to the next thing, which is going to be tip number 4. And I mentioned lighting in one of the previous tips, and honestly I don't think that you need to even start out with purchasing like a lighting box or a light kit, umbrella lights or a ring light, just because natural lighting is going to be the best lighting no matter what. So if you can take your pictures in natural lighting, that's going to be even better. But if you do live somewhere where you don't get a lot of natural light, then go ahead and check to see what are some of your options for purchasing some lighting kits out there. I think eBay and Amazon both have some lighting umbrella lights, I think around $20 to $25. So those would be good. A lot of people say that they use ring lights. I don't really like ring lights. I don't feel like it gives off enough light to light up the whole item in the background. So I would stick to the box lights or umbrella lights, but if you have to get lighting, then choose one of those options. But if not, then just use your regular natural light. You can take it outside, you can open up a window, like right here I have a window in front of me and I use that for these YouTube videos. I go to my son's room actually to take my pictures for my reselling, because I think there's like 4 or 5 windows in his room, and I just open them all and I just lay down my background, and that's how I take my pictures. And also the new phones, like my iPhone does have like a low light setting, so it automatically, like once you take the picture, if you click it, I think if like you click and hold it, or if you click it twice or something, it will brighten it up even more. So that's a good way. And also, as far as using like box lights and umbrella lights, it doesn't really show the accurate, in my opinion at least, it doesn't really show the colors accurately, because like sometimes colors get washed out or colors look different under that lighting. And natural lighting, it's natural color, you know, in the sunlight, so to speak. So that's why I prefer using natural lighting. I did go through a phase where I purchased 2 umbrella lights and I used the app Lightroom or Snapseed. I used both of those, I think. So I would place my items on my wall, and my wall is not even white. It's like a creamy-ish color. I would hang that up and place the item there, use the box light or the umbrella lights and take my pictures like that, and then go in either with Snapseed or with Lightroom, and then I would make it look even more brighter. And I actually liked the way it looked in the beginning, but sometimes using those editing apps, it comes out looking, like I said, the colors aren't really true to color. And sometimes I got a lot of questions like, is that the real color? Is that how it really looks? That red looks very vibrant. The blue looks super vibrant. And so I just went away and did away with all of that, just because it was so time consuming taking out all of the lights, getting everything set up, hanging it up. And so now I just stick to using flat lays, and occasionally I will pull out my mannequin. If you are doing this part-time or if you work outside of your home, I completely understand having the need to purchase lights, but I do not think it's necessary. So the next tip I have for y'all is going to be tip number 5, and that is going to be flat lays, wall hangings, mannequins, backdrops, using either of those to take your pictures. Now, I don't think it's necessary to purchase any backdrops when you first start out. You can just use what you have. So, you know, like a neutral sheet, you can put a sheet as a background, like a white, plain white one, a cream one, a gray one, you can use that. And then as you start making money, you can look on Amazon, and Amazon has backdrops ranging from $10 to $20 depending on the size. Then you can purchase like a brick backdrop, or maybe like a wood backdrop, or something that looks a little bit nicer. You can use a fur backdrop. I used to use like a white, like sheepskin or fur backdrop or rug that I got from TJ Maxx or Marshalls. I think it was like $15. I used to use that when I went later down the road when I started, because that type of backdrop was like super popular then. But I don't use that anymore. Now, as y'all saw in some of the previous videos, I just use like a wood backdrop. I think it's like a grayish white backdrop. So that's what I use now. But before, I used to use a backdrop like this color, like a rainbow striped, when I first started, because that was the only thing that I had and I didn't want to put it on the carpet. So I understand when you first start out, you have to use with what you have. So just look around your house and see what you can use. I also for some time hung my items up on the wall with a hanger, like a clear hanger, put a tack on the wall and took my pictures like that. But I also did have a lighting kit at that time, so it wasn't super dark. Or if you have a wall that you can use next to a window, you can do that. Just play around with what you have. Number 6 is about inventory. So as you start selling those items around your house, you can, you know, then take that profit and go to the thrift store, garage sales, or wherever to buy your inventory. But whenever you first start buying your inventory, just keep in mind, try to keep the cost low as possible, because if you have the cost as low as possible, then that means you have a larger profit range. And what you're in the business for is making a profit. So you're not going to want to buy an item that's $10 and sell it for $15, because there's not going to be any profit in that, because you have to pay fees and you have to pay taxes. So just think about that when you're out purchasing items. When you first start, you're not going to know what brands to pick up. You're not going to know what sells good for you and what doesn't sell. So that's going to be trial and error. So when I purchase items, I honestly like to keep them $5 or less. And when it starts getting higher than $5, like $8, $9, $10, I start feeling a little nervous, because that's not, like, in reality, that's not a lot of money. But at the same time, if I'm going out buying 10 items for $10, I already spent $100 on those things. So it's like, whenever you're purchasing items for a lot, you have to really think, okay, at $10, I still have to pay 20% to Poshmark. I have to pay taxes. How much money can I make from this $10? If I buy buy it for $10, can I sell it for $20? Can I sell it for $30? Can I sell it for 50 plus? Like, that's the things that you have to start thinking about whenever you purchase items that start to get a little bit more costly. So I recommend, you know, when you first start, keeping your items as cheap as possible. If you have a Goodwill outlet, which is the bins where you pay by the pound, go there, because you're going to get the items as cheap as possible. I don't have one near me, so I can't go. I think the closest one is like an hour or an hour and a half away, which isn't too bad, but I've been a couple times and it's just trash, guys. Like, it's horrible. I can't go there. I can't go there to make a profit, so I don't like going there. So I just go to the thrift stores around me. And at the thrift stores, prices are all over the place. So just really be mindful of what you're picking up and how much it costs and how much you can sell that item for. And that brings us to tip number 7, which is checking comps. Always, 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 when you first start out, you have to check your comps. You have to check what it sold for, sold comps, and you also have to check listed comps. Those two are important. A lot of times people don't check to see the listed comps. Listed comps aren't as important as sold comps, but you still want to check them. So if you're selling, I recommend actually checking comps on Poshmark and eBay. I always check those comps on there, just because those are the biggest platforms, and eBay more than Poshmark. But like, if you're selling on Depop, I don't even know if you can check comps on Depop. Actually, I know you can look to see how much people have the items listed for, but with the things that people have listed, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because anyone can go out and list a jacket, for example, for $500, but what is most important is, what is someone actually willing to pay for that item? Yes, they have it listed for $500, but what did it actually sell for? So then you go to the sold comps and see, okay, that same jacket sold for $50. How many, like, look further down, how many times did that jacket sell for $50? Okay, it sold for $50 the last 10 times. Okay, so that's a good marker showing you that $500 is not really what it's worth, but $50 is what it's worth. And you see it at the thrift store for $20. So are you going to buy a jacket for $20 to resell it for $50? Probably not, because you're not going to make a huge profit on it. So that's why it's important to check solds and listed, and also to see how many of that item is listed and how many of that item has sold, because that's going to be the sell-through rate. Okay, so you see that there's 500 items listed, but only 2 have sold. That's not going to be a good sell-through rate. That's going to tell me that the market is oversaturated and not to get that item. So that's another thing to look at. But the next tip is number 8, is about packaging your item and using the boxes that come with from USPS. So on Poshmark, they have that whole deal with USPS where you can get their free boxes and ship them. I think it's a priority mail, if I'm not mistaken, the priority mail boxes. So you can go on USPSwebsite.com and you can get their free it's not poly mailers, it's bubble mailers. You can get the boxes, you can get all of that for free, and they'll ship it to your door, or you can go to your local post office and maybe pick up a few there. So whenever you first start, I do recommend, if you're going with Poshmark, getting those boxes and not purchasing like poly mailers or any of that, because with Poshmark you can use all of those free supplies. But as you list, like cross list on Mercari or eBay, you cannot use those items, because you have to, well, you can use them, yes, but you're going to have to input it in eBay that it's priority mail, medium box, or priority mail, large box, or whatever size box you're using. And usually with those, it's more expensive. I think the medium priority mail box is like $15 to ship. So just be mindful how you're shipping on eBay if you're starting out. Like I said, eBay is a little bit more difficult than Poshmark with shipping. So if you're going to be starting out with Poshmark, just, you know, you can get those free boxes and use them, but you're still gonna have to buy tape and like packaging material to wrap the purses or shoes in, because you want your item to get to the customer protected and not scuffed and scratched. And as far as eBay, Mercari, and Depop or other platforms, you can buy poly mailers, put shirts and shoes, pants, or not shoes, actually don't put shoes in there. Shirts, pants, a jacket, you can get all types of sizes. Amazon, I usually purchase mine from Amazon. They have some good ones there. I purchased like 50 of the 10 by 13 bags, I think is the size that I have. And I actually use them for Poshmark. I use them all across all of the platforms, Poshmark, eBay, everywhere, just because it's easier to ship, you know, like one shirt in. And I have seen people purchase thank you cards, thank you stickers, thank you gifts. I don't recommend doing that because honestly, it's just a waste of money. So thank you cards, I mean, yeah, it's a nice touch, but I don't think that you absolutely need a thank you card. I don't ever use them. I tried in the beginning, but then I just kept forgetting to put them in the bag or the box or whatever. But I use poly mailers that actually say thank you on there. So that's what you can look for, a poly mailer that actually says thank you, so you don't have to buy extra materials that say thank you, or just don't use it at all. Whenever I get a package in the mail, I'm not looking for, oh my gosh, they didn't send me a thank you card, or this doesn't even have a thank you sticker, you know? Like, whenever I order online, I just want to make sure that I get my item in a timely manner, that it's wrapped and not coming damaged, dirty, that it's clean, you know, things like that. So I'm not worried about a little thank you sticker or a thank you card or even a little free gift with purchase. You know, I'm not looking for those items. That's all fluff. I don't think it's important. So I don't think you should worry about that either when you're first starting out, or even after you've been reselling for years and years and years. I just don't think those things are necessary. And going back, this is tip 10, going back on piggybacking on one of the other tips, buying quality items. So I don't mean like expensive items like you're looking for Gucci or Chanel or any of that, or Louis Vuitton. Just buy quality items, like don't try to purchase items that have flaws and you're going to fix them, because fixing it does take time, and time is money. So if you want to buy those and upcycle them, that's great, if that's the kind of reselling business that you want. Just don't go out and buy items that have flaws and then you have like a huge pile of flawed items that you need to upcycle. Just, you know, I know it slips through the cracks all the time. I always end up purchasing a flawed item that I don't look thoroughly over in the thrift store. Just make sure that you're looking over items in the thrift store as best as you can. And then the next two things under this quality item section is brands don't always matter. Like the name brand doesn't always matter whenever you're reselling. Yes, I do think it's important, but style also is important. So you have to, once again, look at the styles and the trends. Like my trend video, if y'all haven't watched that, y'all can click the card above. I'll click it above, or I'll link it above for y'all. But make sure you know what is trending. What is the fall trends? What are the winter trends? What are the summer trends? You know, be looking out for the trends. Okay, we're moving through, guys. I only have two more sections to talk about. The next section is going to be storage. So as you are starting to get more inventory, you have to start thinking about storage. How are you going to store all of these items? Do you have a garage where you can put them all in? Do you have a dedicated office space? But just think about storage. I just use like regular shelving from, I think it was from Home Depot, like the plastic shelving. I think I showed it in one of my last videos, or one of my previous videos. plastic shelving with like tubs and they have numbers on them. So people use a number system, people use a letter system, people use a number and letter system. You know, people put them in clear poly bags and label them that way. Just, you know, you can YouTube storage system for reselling. There's a lot of people that have a lot of good information about how to store stuff. So as you get more items, I would even say probably like 50 or plus, because that's going to be a lot of items to like weed through and to go through wherever you're storing them. So just whenever you get to like 50 or plus items, just start thinking about how you want to store them. You can even put them on clothing racks. You know, there's a lot of different ways to store them. So the last thing I think I have for y'all here, where you are in your business or your reselling journey, just think about how much money you want to make. I have this example written here. So if you want to make $2,000 a month, you can either sell 30 items for $66, or you can sell 133 items for $15 each. Now, none of this includes like cost of goods or the fees. It's just, that's something to think about. Like if you want to be making $500 a month, think about how many items you have to have in your closet and how many items has to sell at X amount of money, right, to get to the $500 a month. So you are one that has like a lot of crazy good brands around you that you can actually sell $60, like each item for $60, like 30 items for $60, that's great. But if you just have like American Eagle and Old Navy around you, then you might want to consider looking at getting more items and selling more items a month at the $133 or 133 items for $15. So for both of those examples, the 133 items one will have to have, I think, if I remember the math correctly, I think if you're gonna sell 133, like usually people sell 25% of their inventory, right? I think that's what the standard was. So at 133 items, if that's how much you sell, I guess let's say in a month, then you're gonna have to have like, I don't know, 400 or 500 items in your closet so you can sell, you know, consistently 133 items. And then for 30 items, you might only have to have like, I don't know, 200 items or something like that in your closet to sell like $60 or something each item. So it's not always going to be $60 that you're going to be selling each item. One item might sell for 100, one item might sell for 20, and then another item might sell for $60. So just think about, you know, like write a plan down. I want to make an extra 500 a month. I want to make an extra $2,000 a month, something like that. So you know exactly how you have to do it and how you have to get there, because that actually really helps. And then I have a bonus tip here for y'all. So the bonus tip that really was a game changer for me was getting a business bank account or a separate bank account. It doesn't have to necessarily be a business one, but just a separate bank account from your regular bank account if you're going to be doing this as a business. So with that, I didn't get, and I'm ashamed to say, guys, I didn't get a business bank account until literally like a couple of months ago. And I've been doing this for 7 years and I just got one. So before that, I wasn't, like, I didn't know, like I knew how much I was making, but I wasn't seeing it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not seeing the money. I don't understand. I made this much money, but where is it all, right? Like I wasn't seeing it. So now that I have a separate bank account, I see everything that goes in. I see everything that comes out. And with that one, it's just like a regular debit card. I do have a business credit card, but I don't think that's necessary when you're first starting out. Just a regular business just a regular business debit card, right? So you can have all of your funds go in there from Poshmark, from eBay, from wherever you're selling, all of the money going in. And then whenever you go out to buy more inventory, use that same card, that same money, and purchase the items. Don't use, you know, your cash that you have from your other job or whatever. Just use the same card. Use it for your reselling business. Use it to buy tape. Use it to buy boxes. Use it to buy inventory. And so that is all of my how to become a reseller in 2023 tips for y'all. I know it was a lot to unpack, and there's a lot of videos out there that a lot of other resellers have did that were similar. I just wanted to talk from my experiences. I know I'm not a six-figure reseller. You know, like I said, I just opened a business account not too long ago. So it's almost like I'm really starting over and doing it from a business point of view now that I am, you know, kind of separating my regular finances from my reselling finances. So I just thought that this video would be helpful to someone who actually wants to do it, or maybe who is just doing it all willy-nilly part-time here and there and not really caring, but now that they want to move forward and doing it as a full-time business like me. So I thought we can go on this journey along together and learn, and basically, like, I guess relearn it all again. Because don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button down below. I would really appreciate that, guys. And if y'all could drop a comment down below of any other tips and tricks that y'all have used in y'all's reselling business. Are you a reseller? Are you part-time or are you full-time? Yeah, so I guess I'll see you on the next video, guys. See you later.